This is going to be your guide for finding pearls and mermaid recipes in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So what you want to do is you want to find some bubbles, press the A button to swim towards it, the Y button to dive, and then the A button to hunt it down, and you have to hope. If it's a pearl, you got a pearl. If it's a scallop, then Pascal shows up, and you can give him the scallop, and then he'll give you a recipe in return, and that's pretty much it. But don't click off the video just yet. Also, leave a like if it ends up helping you out in some way. Share it with your friends. I've been seeing a lot of people ask questions on how do I get pearls? How do I get Pascal to show up? Well, that's pretty much the short answer, but I do want to go a bit more detail with some optimizations and some early observations that I've made so far. So, actually, we can go and check my Nook phone, and we can see how many items I've fished up already. So we have underwater understudy, that's going to be for unique species. Gotten 20 of the unique species already, so that's pretty good. But then we can see deep dive. I've caught 91 sea creatures, and I have not gotten a single pearl. Now, I've gotten 4 scallops so far, and 2 of them were back-to-back. So scallops seem to be about a 5% rarity, and pearls are 1% or less. So what you really need to do is just find the best path to getting as many searches as possible, and then it's pretty much just RNG from there. Hey, look at that. We got a scallop. So that's going to be 5 scallops and about 100. So 5% feels like a nice, wholesome number, and it seems pretty doable in kind of getting it. So here you go. Give me a mermaid recipe. That's going to be pretty cool. Now, another thing to consider is that Pascal only shows up once per day, and if you deny him the first time he shows up, he doesn't come back. That's what happened when I got my back-to-back. I was like, oh, a scallop. Well, I'm going to keep this one so I can give it to Blathers, and then I found another scallop, and he didn't show up. So, yeah, you get some, trippy talk and commentary from him, and then he drifts off, but he gives you a mermaid recipe, and you can either trade it, or you can read it. Now, you can't really interact with anything while you're in the water, so that's a problem. Wait, hold up. I was not paying attention right there. I did not know that Pascal gave me a pearl. I heard nothing about this, but I guess I might have just like RNG'd into another DIY recipe or something crazy. I just mashed A through it. I went, oh, I got a scallop. I guess I'm going to get the DIY. I checked my inventory. I didn't see a DIY because I thought it wouldn't appear until I went onto shore or something, since I can't interact with my inventory or anything, but it turned out to be a pearl. So I guess that might be the secret to speeding up the pearl gains, is that once you have all of Pascal's DIY recipes, if you roll for a recipe you already have, it doesn't give you a duplicate. It just gives you another pearl. And that makes me wonder, oh, I guess maybe it's once you've learned it. Because, like, what happens if you don't learn it and then you trade it away? Or maybe they're not marketable. I haven't actually, like, tried to sell the actual DIY recipes. But, so that's another way of getting pearls. Maybe it's a part of his table, or maybe it is if you get, like, the extra roll on the DIY recipe. And right now I've switched it over tonight, because let's get through the rest of my video until we get back up to this point.
I can't really interact with anything while you're in the water, so...
Now, since he only shows up once per day, it pretty much tells you everything that you need to do. Once he shows up, you save the game, you time skip, and you go for him again. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with time skipping. It's completely allowed. It's not cheating in any way. So, yeah, time skip and go ahead. Now, if you are an anti-time skipping player, then you can still search around and look for pearls, but it's going to take you a longer time to get the recipes. However, it does have recipes, so you can trade and buy them, and the prices are still pretty liquid right now, but they're pretty expensive. As of the launch day of the patch, some people are saying that pearls are worth around 30 Nook Miles tickets each, and Nook Miles tickets are around 100k bells each, so that's 3 mil for a pearl. And that feels about right with how rare the pearls are. I feel like even after the patch, these things are going to hold their value around at least 1 mil. Unless, like, some kind of crazy dupe or glitch is found, but Nintendo's been really good at patching those out, so I don't even think that that's going to be too much of a worry. So the best way of getting pearls is by optimizing getting sea creatures, so there's a couple of little things you can do. When you have a large shadow like this, it's not going to be a pearl or a scallop, that this is going to be like a giant oyster or a lobster. So if you don't waste your time on the rare ones, like, see, there's bubbles down there, so it's a better chance that that's going to be a pearl, and I could just go for that instead of wasting my time here. But if you are trying to fill out your Critterpedia as well as the museum, then you'll eventually have to chase these down and come up with some creative ways of catching them. I think you have to, like, route them into a corner. So, I have to kind of, like, push this guy around, follow the bubbles, wait till I almost get to the edge. Oh, he got moved by something else, so yeah. It's kind of weird. Man, these things are tricky. That took a long time, and yeah, it was a giant clam. A gigas giant clam. So that's a really rare one. That's a really valuable one. And in the meantime, I guess I'm just finding some other things to dig up as well. That's just going to be a sea anemone. Now, what I've noticed is that some areas on my island seem to spawn bubbles more frequently than others, or at least I find them faster in certain areas than other areas. This could be some kind of placebo effect. I might just have some kind of bias with how I'm finding items, but for the most part, in the top left area, I can just kind of go back and forth and do little circles, and I'm constantly getting spawns. So yeah, pick up one over there, new bubbles pop up over here, not really too far. I go down like to the bottom left, and then I go back to the top right. Or, you know, I go down left a little bit, go right, up, and then just kind of keep doing little circles. I keep finding the bubbles, and eventually we'll get a scallop, and hopefully that translates to a new recipe, and then we have pearls eventually spawn and stuff. Diving doesn't really do anything for you if there's nothing around. I just accidentally press the Y button. Now, here's something we're talking about, a pearl oyster. If you get a pearl oyster, it's not a pearl. It's not like you can shuck it and get a pearl out of it. It's just a regular sea creature that's been confusing a lot of people, but it doesn't count towards a pearl, unfortunately. And I'm wondering if, like, maybe there's certain times, like certain months that might have pearls be more common. Maybe there's gonna be like a Nintendo event, because pearl, like the mermaid crafting stuff is super expensive. And at the very slow rate that you get pearls, it just doesn't feel balanced. Or maybe they are like more common at certain times of the day. So I'm gonna do a little bit around night and see if I can get more frequent pearls or scallops. Alright, welcome back. Like I said, I'm going to be trying different times to see if anything feels different or feels a little better. Like, maybe rain makes it to where pearls are slightly more common, or at least it gives you more rare stuff. Because that seems like it'd be right. It works with fishing. I think the biggest thing is going to be the data mine, so that might take a few days. But initially, early on, this is the information that you need to know about finding pearls and getting scallops. So far, I've been swimming around. I haven't seen anything new or really too different. Oh. It's actually kind of tricky to find some of the shadows when it's so dark out, so you just kind of have to go off of the little movements that are down here more than anything, and then hope it like goes over a rock or something. Oh, that's new. That's just a mantis shrimp. Cool. So yeah, I think it's going to take a little bit of days to kind of figure this out, get it discovered, and then the data mine is going to be the most valuable information, so I'm looking forward to see what Ninja has on the new info. Might come down to time, might come down to rain, might always be a flat 1% chance. There might just not be anything you can do about it, and it's kind of like the alternative way of getting red artwork is that if you have some villagers, they might gift it to you. So the thing is, like, smug villagers, they always give you fake art, and then some of the other villagers can give you different kinds of art. So there's not just one way of getting the museum filled up that way, because this is ridiculous. Being able to like craft multiple mermaid recipes that like deck out a mermaid room, or to make like a multiple item themed mermaid part of your island, just doesn't seem really viable like this, especially as single player. Of course, a lot of things in Animal Crossing do feel like, oh yeah, you're supposed to grind this out for years. Now, this is going to be multiple summers worth of content. I just kind of go through and pick up items. Okay, so my inventory is full right now. Side note, don't bring tools because you're not going to need them if you're just doing dedicated sea creature farming. But what I like doing is I like getting rescued, and I like dropping myself off at the museum if I know I have new things to get, or I can drop myself off in front of the Nook store. So, yep, rescue service, yep, Verlis from Poketopia. Yeah, it's worth the 100 Nook miles. It's barely costs anything at this point, especially if you're like getting a lot of extra stuff. So let's go to home, because that puts me really close to the museum, and then go to the museum, drop things off, refresh my inventory, sell everything else. And that's because like swimming is so slow. The time it takes to get back to shore and then run back to all of your stuff is going to be a lot longer than that. So let's go and drop off my new finds, and then we'll see how much money we made, and hopefully we get some more pearls. Okay, I was about to be upset. Like, if Blathers took a pearl as a donation and it was required for capping out your museum, I would have been very, very mad. I mean, like, the giant oyster is worth, or the giant clam is worth like 15k in the shop, so that's a little unfortunate I have to donate that eventually, but at least he doesn't take a pearl from you. So now let's go and check out the crafting recipes, because it just kind of shows us how expensive these things are and what else you have to do to get the recipes, because it's not just from finding sea creatures, you also have to use shells. So your mermaid crafting items are going to be grouped up with the rest of your beach themed items, and see, we have mermaid flooring, but it takes 2 pearls to make 1 flooring. So even if you get super lucky and get your 1 pearl, that's not going to work on the crafting recipes, because the mermaid screen, that's 2 pearls as well. So it's also going to take giant clams, sand dollars, and then we have sand dollars for this as well as stones. So while you're doing your time skipping for Pascal, it's also worth like checking your beach depending on how many of these items you need, because it will all add up. That's kind of like the long game of Animal Crossing, is you kind of need everything eventually. Don't be sad, Sky. I'm not talking to you. You're not leaving my island. Oh, didn't have my net ready for that one. Then you just kind of go pick things up. Might fill up the inventory here soon because I didn't drop anything off at the Nook store. So inventory management is going to be pretty big on this one. And as long as you're not getting, as long as you keep getting duplicates, you're not getting new items, you can just squeeze in a couple of extra ones. So let's go sell this, see how much we make, drop everything off, get back to where we were. And that's effectively the gameplay loop right now. Alright, so we made 27,000 bells to the Nooklings for that. Not really too bad for single player. Took a decent amount of time, but not an insane amount of time. I theorize you can get like 150,000 bells per hour if you're playing like hyper optimally on this. So I'm going to do a video about that. Hey, look at that. We come back, we get a scallop, we get Pascal. I guess that's just good luck. I'm going to read the text he has this time to see what happens. Yep, scallop, here you go. My dude. Generosity. He's back. Something you'll dig. Yeah, so he just gives you a thing. Show up at the water balloon. Oh, maybe if he doesn't give you like the weird thing to say, like the blue text, and that means you got a pearl because it was a repeat recipe or something. So what do we got this time? Oh, we got a shirt. I thought he always gave recipes. That's kind of scammy. Okay, I was 2 for 2 on recipes. So yeah, it just seems like it gives you some random stuff depending on how lucky or unlucky you are. Since we got Pascal, I just want to do this last one. We save, we time skip out, we reset, we go for it, and we hope we find a pearl at some point. So I think that's pretty much it. Again, it's mostly going to be about the data mine. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, stay tuned for all that good stuff. Hopefully this video gave you some guidance. Like I said, if it helped you out, don't forget to leave a like. Give me your thoughts. What do you think is going on with the pearl situation? Do you think that I did a good enough job explaining? Because like I said, people just don't understand how to get them. Pascal straight up says, like, hey, find pearls on the seafloor. My experience of already getting like over 100 items tells me, seems like it's a 1%-ish kind of chance. And then you just kind of got to go for it. And the more optimal you are with it, the more pearls you'll find. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.